They don't say it out loud, but your absence is louder in their life than your presence ever was. Every quiet night, every empty notification, every moment when their mind drifts back to you, it hits harder than you think. You assume they moved on. You tell yourself they're fine, smiling, living freely without you. But human psychology rarely works that cleanly. When two people build an emotional bond, the brain doesn't simply erase the connection. It stores it in habits, in routines, in emotional memory. And when that connection breaks, the nervous system doesn't celebrate freedom. It feels loss. Your person is struggling not because you were perfect, but because you became familiar. You became predictable. You became a psychological safe zone, even if the relationship wasn't always peaceful. The human brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar silence. That's why people often miss relationships that weren't even good for them. Because what hurts is not just the loss of a person, but the loss of emotional certainty. Attachment theory explains this in a quiet, uncomfortable truth. When someone forms a deep emotional attachment, your presence becomes part of their internal stability. You are no longer just a person. You become a psychological anchor, and when that anchor disappears, the mind drifts. Thoughts become heavier, nights become longer, small memories start feeling sharper. They may act strong. They may distract themselves with friends, work, or new conversations. But the subconscious mind doesn't move that fast. It keeps pulling them back to the emotional patterns you created together. The way you spoke, the way you reacted, the way you understood certain parts of them no one else noticed. And sometimes what hurts them the most is not what you did. It's what you stopped doing. The good morning messages that disappeared, the check-ins that faded, the emotional warmth that quietly turned into distance. Humans are extremely sensitive to emotional withdrawal. The brain registers it almost like physical pain. But here is the deeper psychological layer most people ignore. Their struggle is not only about missing you. It's about the version of themselves that existed with you, the softer version, the more open version, the version that felt safe enough to be vulnerable. When you left, that version of them felt rejected too. So now they are not just dealing with your absence. They are dealing with self-doubt, with overthinking, with questions they can't ask anymore. Their mind replays old conversations, searching for the exact moment things shifted. Not because they are weak, but because emotional bonds leave neurological imprints that take time to fade. But your responsibility is not to carry their emotions forever. Emotional intelligence is knowing where your heart ends and someone else's begins. Boundaries are not cruelty. Sometimes distance is the only way both minds can heal without reopening the same wounds. One quiet psychological truth is this: when you stop feeding an emotional dependency, the other person is forced to confront parts of themselves they've been avoiding, and that process always feels uncomfortable before it feels freeing. So yes, your person may be struggling more than you know, but that struggle might be the exact thing that pushes both of you toward growth, toward self-respect, toward emotional independence. Because sometimes the pain you cause without meaning to becomes the lesson someone needed to finally understand their own heart. And somewhere in the quiet spaces between memories and silence, they are learning how to stand without the emotional shadow you once cast beside them.